Hey there, it's David from Project 42 and Musicians React. Back today with another reaction. And this one today we are going to check out Kill to This and the track This World off the album Deviate. So a lot of the videos I've been doing today have been around British bands that were all around the new metal explosion from the UK back around the 2000s, late 1990s to early 2000s. So I've already done 1 Minute Silence, Polkas, which are both around there, and I'm now hitting on to Kill to This. This is kind of a semi-review stroke reaction, so I've heard the song before, but not for a while. But again, as I always talk about, this is a musician's breakdown. So I probably know this song from just having it on in the background at some point over time, over the last sort of 20 years. But now I'm going to be talking to it from a musician's point of view and hopefully introducing some of you guys to this band. As always, if you have any comments, please put it in the comments below. If you've got any bands that you would like me to check out, if you're an unsigned band, please put it in the comments below and I will definitely get around to checking you guys out. So without further ado, this is Kill to This and the track This World.
This is a public service announcement. The world will explode in 10 seconds.
Okay, so before I let it get any further there, this band uses a lot of backing tracks, so they don't use like a guy programmer on stage or anything, so they pre-program everything in the studio and then use, the drummer's got basically headphones in so he can make sure he stays in time with everything, but it works really, really well. So I know how this intro goes and I love how this intro goes, so I'm not going to pause it until it kicks back in, but you'll see what I mean.
9 seconds, 8 seconds, 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second.
That's a nice little drum fill there. So it would be really easy to make it over complex and do a load of big fills or make it simple. But what is that? That little bit, that little bit is a nice little fill without overcomplicating. It leaves room for everything else going on and doesn't actually blur over any of the other instruments. So it's just that little bit of thinking when the drummer has worked on it that to me is the signature of a great drummer thinking about how he's going to write on the track. So this is where your drummer has got to be tight as nails, especially if you're going to be performing this live. So if you can just imagine, this has got samples the whole way through so far. There's not been a pause where there is a catch-up point or anything like that. So if the drummer deviates even slightly on that click, it's going to sound awful. And having seen these guys play this live, they were able to nail it every time. So yeah, it's really important when you're, especially if you're not if you're writing for us just something that you're going to release and not think about it, that's fine. But if you're thinking about writing something like this as a performance piece that you're going to have to go out and perform it, you need to make sure that every person in the band can actually play it and lock it and make sure it's tight. So before you start recording, make sure you can nail it. And I would practice in the studio before you even get anywhere close to recording it. There's no point trying to fix this in the studio. what I like on this album is how they've used operatic singing. I'm not actually sure. I'm sure Mark Minette from the band will let me know somehow whether or not this was one person who did all the singing on the album, if it was one that they've used on multiple albums, if this was just a friend, a local, or if it was a specific artist that did all the operatic singing. But it'd be kind of cool because they did a lot of Crucified had a lot of singing over it as well. There's tracks like The Flood. Well, The Flood actually had more aggressive stuff because he had Barney from Napalm Death singing on it. But yeah, it's great to see sort of like crossover into, you've got industrial, new metal with a bit of opera. So a couple of parts I've listened to there were the drum tracks. So I liked how on the chorus, when it got to the end, where he sings "This World So Fucked Up," it's like da 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 da. And actually, just if you ask a drummer just to switch that tempo from going dun 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 to go da 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 da, that's actually a really difficult thing to train yourself to do, because it's not a natural tempo on the drums. Could go when you've been playing at other tempo. It's fine to get going on that tempo, or it's fine to finish if you've got time to set your mind at, but to go from one to the other, really tricky. Personally, other drummers will probably turn around and say it's the easiest thing to play, but personally I always found that really difficult. And then I just love how it's throughout the different parts, the drummer is actually thinking about how he's playing it. He's not just keeping it solid. He's not just doing like a 4/4 beat. So again, it's just a well thought out drum pattern. So it's nice, you've gone through a kind of so you've got this nice kind of midsection breakdown. It's got a groove to it. It's got a nice squeal. So the good thing about here with Mark Minette going on the guitars going up, so he's doing a nice high part, which means it cuts down for all the other low end sorts like that. And it's with something like this, although I've said on some of the new metal stuff I think the solos work, I think with this one, because you've got so sample heavy, I think when you go sample heavy it's really difficult to throw solos in. It's more of a tricky element. You've got to find the right time at the right place, and on this track it doesn't make sense to have a solo. Okay, so this is the bit I'm going to have to be critical on, Mark. I'm really sorry. You were critical on us when we recorded our album, so that part there with the toms just feels like a throwaway part. To extend the album, this bit here, because we've gone back into the This World bit, which was just before the toms, I don't see any point of having it. You could have shortened this out from 4 minutes 47, saved 20 seconds of song, and no one would have known the wiser. Let's just go back, because if you can imagine listening to this and going back to the This World bit and then before the toms, which we'll try now, hopefully I've got it in the right place, and then imagine coming out of it, you'll kind of see what I mean. See, that would have made a lot more sense coming from the first time of doing This World and just doing the holding the note and then kicking back into that. There was absolutely no need to have that tom section. It didn't add anything. It wasn't a great riff on its own. It wasn't a great section. It didn't add any dynamics to the song. So for those that have seen my videos so far, I've always been praising people. I'm sorry, Mark, but that bit should have been cut from that song. So we're kind of 4 minutes in. We've probably wasted, what, a good 20 seconds on something that didn't need to be there. The other thing I'm sort of sitting in the back of my head is that we seem to have repeated a lot of the same song, same part of the song, saying this world, this world. So I'm questioning whether or not this is a 4-minute 47 song. Could this have been a 3-minute song and made it more punchy? Made it more relevant without lots of repetition? Let's have a look.
This world is so fucked up. 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 This world is so
Okay, so that was Kill to This and This World. So, okay, so in summary, cool intro, cool punching, liked the main riff, thought the build up over the choruses was cool. Felt the midsection could have been shortened. The outro definitely could have been shortened as well. Quite like the outro, the spoken word, This World is so fucked up. I think it's kind of cool. It's nice to have that sort of element, and good use of sampling and digital. So for me, we probably had about 40-45 seconds. You could have taken this down to a 4-minute song and it would have been fine. Good technical ability, love what they did, love the band live. Mark Minette's been an absolute diamond geezer to work with when we did the Nothing Gained albums. So I can't thank him enough. So I can't really say a bad word about the band Kill to This. But Mark, you should have definitely taken out that section in the middle. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As always, please like, please share, please comment, and please subscribe. And I will look forward to doing another reaction video with you very soon. Thank you very much.